starting lineup for the New York Knicks. Starting at forward, 6'8" from Wichita State, number 32, Xavier McDaniel. At forward, 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. At center, 7 foot from Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. At guard, 6'3" from St. John's, number 13, Mark Jackson. And at guard, 6'6" from Tennessee Chattanooga, number 21, Gerald Wilkins. The Cats' big boy coach of the day is Brad Butsiak. Congratulations, Brad. Nice to have you with us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, up on your feet to meet your Cleveland Cavaliers. At forward, 6'6" from UCLA, number 33, Mike Sanders. At forward, 6'10" from Clemson, number 22, Larry Nance. At center, 7 foot from North Carolina, number 43, Brad Doherty. At guard, 6'3" from Arizona, number 4, Steve Kerr. And at guard, 6 foot from Georgia Tech, number 25, Mark Price. The head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tony Wilkins, assistant coaches Cal Bryant.
Well, you can look at that number put up by the Cleveland Cavaliers, referring to the number of shots they've blocked against the Knicks. And that is a big problem for New York, especially if they're not hitting their outside shots. And the shots that Cleveland doesn't block, they changed. Just before today's game, John Andre spoke to Pat Riley and asked him how the Knicks can possibly overcome this dominance inside by Cleveland.
Well, there's a couple of things you can do, John. I mean, they don't give us, but what we can manufacture in our offense, we have to take the shot that is there. Sometimes we try to get a better shot. We get into the lane, and you're facing Nance at 6'11", and Williams and Doherty, and they're changing and blocking shots. Now, they got 26 blocked shots to our 6, so we got to take the shot that we're going to get, or we have to drive and draw the foul, or drive and dish for the layup.
And John, the Knicks are not alone. This season, the Cavaliers have almost blocked 200 more shots than their opponents.
Well, what this means is that the Knicks have to take the 10 to 12 foot shots and not either go for the dunk or the long jump shot.
In the middle, veteran Larry Nance goes up against Patrick Ewing, and that's quickly converted into 2 Knick points.
Boy, that's a high school play. Tip to the forward, and the guard gets the layup.
We'll look at the officials for this afternoon's game. Mike Sanders reunited with his former team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, this season after a brief free agent stint of a couple of seasons with the Indiana Pacers. Brad Doherty down low, guarded by Ewing. Sanders well short on the jumper. Gerald Wilkins scans the floor. Knicks coming off their impressive victory over the Atlanta Hawks at Madison Square Garden on Friday night. Mark Jackson guarded by super point guard Mark Price. And Patrick Ewing goes for the power slam and had too much on it.
He was flying, Al. I mean, he really got a step and was moving.
There you see the final score on the parquet floor of Boston without Larry Bird. Celtics 97, Bulls 86. Patrick Ewing is off. Mike Sanders on the rebound. Larry Nance the fall away. Pulled down by Mark Jackson. Fast pace to this game off the opening tip. Jackson slapped from behind by Price and then rejected inside. The first of what should be many blocks. And Price alerts Xavier McDaniel.
Well, it was clear, Al, that Patrick Ewing didn't think he could catch Price.
Sanders on McDaniel, Kerr with Gerald Wilkins. That'll give Gerald a height advantage, and he's perfect on the jumper.
Wilkins.
As we said at the outset, Knicks are 0-3 against Cleveland this season, but the last 2 games were decided by 5 points, and 2 games which the Knicks feel they gave away. Price posting up his Nance. The jump hook is off. Mark Jackson, perfectly done.
Mark Jackson.
Right in front of the big man of Cleveland. Larry Nance and Brad Daugherty watched it happen. Steve Kerr, one of the additions to this lineup since the Knicks have matched up with Cleveland. Also Sanders, the man with the ball. The Knicks haven't seen him this year, so 40% of the starting lineup for the Cavs gives the Cavs a brand new look to the Knicks.
Charles Oakley is called on the foul. That will send the former Tar Heel star Brad Daugherty, now in his 6th NBA season, the one-time first-round first pick, is averaging just short of 22 points, almost 11 rebounds, 4 assists. He gives Lenny Wilkins 37 minutes, and he and Larry Nance put up some amazing shooting percentages. Daugherty is shooting 58% on the season.
Best of his 6-year career. He is firing that ball better than ever.
Knicks with the lead, 6-4. Early going first quarter. Pat Riley standing right in front of us, blocking our vision and also yelling out some instructions for the Knicks to set up this play. 5 on the 24. Oakley comes up short. Steve Kerr, starting his 14th game in the stead of injured Craig Elo, brings it up the floor.
He likes to hang around beyond that three-point line, too. He's the best at it.
Kerr dishes for Nance on the move, and he's struggling from the floor. Nance coming into this game shooting 55%, is now 0 for 3.
Mark Jackson looking to exploit his moves inside. He gets off a good shot.
Team effort for the rebound, and the Cavaliers have it. Mark Price. You know, John, if someone told you Price and Kerr were brothers, you'd have a tough time arguing. Daugherty drops it in. That ties the score at 6. 10 on the 24-second clock for Patrick Ewing as he faces the basket. Daugherty stays right there. Soft touch on the fall-away for Patrick Ewing. His first points.
Patrick is starting this game like he has a lot of energy to expend on Brad Daugherty. Very confident of his moves. Feels he can score every time he gets the ball.
Knicks have lost their last 5 to Cleveland, 9 of the last 12, and they've lost their last 9 in a row here in Richfield. All blue shirts underneath. Knicks clearing everybody out. Gerald Wilkins drops it for Oakley. He gave him that pass in a very tough position. And Oakley battles for his own rebound. Pat Riley trying to get some life into Oakley. He seemed a little stunned after he pulled that rebound down. The double team leaves Oakley open.
Larry Nance didn't even come out to guard Charles. He'd rather him take that shot. Charles showing how much work he's been putting in on that short jumper.
Mark Price. Oh, what a touch on the run.
He doesn't seem to be negatively affected by heavy momentum generated by him as he goes to the basket. It's very hard to shoot a ball when you're running toward the basket quickly.
Jackson tried to use the pick from Ewing, works his way inside, but Larry Nance may have been caught by Mark Jackson out of the corner of his eye and then changed his shot. 6:50 to go in the opening quarter. 10-8 Knicks. There'll be a timeout on the floor and a foul. We'll get back to Richfield in a moment.
Use the backboard on a shot like that. He is such a good shooter. His instincts are so sound, and he had the right angle to use the backboard.
Knicks with a slight edge in the shooting department, getting off 4 more shots than Cleveland, 42% to 38%. Mark Price acquired by the Cleveland Cavaliers for a second-round draft pick from the Dallas Mavericks. You think the Mavs would like to redo that? Daugherty spinning on McDaniel. Patrick Ewing.
Knicks doing a nice job initially clearing their defensive boards, not allowing offensive rebounding by the Cavs.
Wilkins. And Ewing gets fouled by Brad Daugherty as he made his move to the basket.
This game, Al, has a lot more meaning, and Lenny Wilkins not happy about it. Lenny shows his unhappiness in strange ways. He moves his lips a certain way sometimes. You know he's angry if they're tilted down.
I'll have to look for that.
He's very undemonstrative as a coach, although he can get angry sometimes, but he is one of the coolest guys. But this game has a lot of meaning to the Knicks and their psyches, because there's a good chance these two teams are going to meet in the playoffs in a 4 out of 7 should the Knicks get by the first round. And you know they want to have the feeling of victory against the Cavs. The Cavs, however, showing up today with their fine record, and just another game to them right now.
Brad Daugherty with 7 on the 24. Kicks it out for Nance, and Larry Nance is extremely cold, 0 for 4. Jackson for McDaniel. Knicks try to get him involved. One of the rare moments he's touched the ball in a position to shoot. Price for 3. Quick outlet, Ewing to Jackson. Jackson goes right at Daugherty, lays it off for Oakley, who drops in the reverse.
Charles Oakley.
4 points for Charles Oakley. The playoffs ended today. Knicks would meet Atlanta in the first round of the playoffs. Cleveland would take on Indiana. Chicago would meet New Jersey. Boston would take on Detroit. Larry Nance can't find the basket for anything. Jackson, very, very offensive-minded, especially on the drive, and he's successful there. The Knicks now lead it by 7, 15-8.
Mark Jackson is reminding the big men on the Cavs that they better put their hands up and get back into their shot-blocking way. McDaniel looking for Jackson as he runs the sideline. Mark keeps that ball. Price gives him room, and Mark Jackson answers Price's move moments ago with that off the backboard shot. You know, Al, one exception to the meaning, I just said how the game really doesn't mean that much to the Cavs. One exception, however, is the Knicks are knocking on the door for the second best record now in the Eastern Conference. The Cavs with 51 wins, the Knicks with 48. We're talking home court advantage. Should the Cavs get sloppy and lose that best lead, they would lose the home court advantage.
But the other thing, John, is if the season is over and the Cavs, let's say, lose today and they're 3-1, the most powerful memory in their mind will be this last game. And especially if the Knicks were able to win it in a very strong way, then it would be a very big win for the Knicks, and it would hurt Cleveland's psyche. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Brad Daugherty bouncing bodies with Patrick Ewing, drawing the double team and beating both Oakley and Ewing.
See, that's what's so tough about a big man who uses his frame to go to the basket and not be content with a turnaround jump shot.
Knicks have scored half their points on fast breaks. Cavs have only gotten 2 points on the break. A pass from McDaniel to Ewing in very tight quarters. 9 seconds on the 24-second clock for the Knicks. Wilkins pulls up. Big rebound by McDaniel, who was fouled going up for the return.
You know, you said it, Al. That was big. You know, for a second there, I didn't know who that was up so high in the middle of traffic. That's the kind of rebounding. That one rebound is the kind of rebounding that the Knicks have not seen from Xavier. What an impressive leap that was.
Pat Riley with a brief chat for Patrick Ewing. The foul on the 10-year veteran out of UCLA, Mike Sanders, and Xavier McDaniel coming off a good all-around game. 12 points, 10 rebounds against Atlanta Friday. Well, we've talked an awful lot about who stands where in the Eastern Conference. Here's how it is right now. Miami getting a bit nervous. They just concluded a rough week. They're out by a game. This season is over, John. The story of Bill Finch could be written into a very entertaining book to read. Knicks by 7, 17-10.
Well, starting with survival, Al, that's what Bill Finch has done, and he's done a great job.
Fans getting a little restless here, and they're a bit quiet. Wilkins. John Battle has checked into the game for the Cleveland Cavaliers. First substitution on the floor. McDaniel is open, That'll be an offensive foul on Gerald Wilkins just as he released the pass. Second foul on Gerald. John Starks rises to his feet, makes his way to the scorer's table. Mark Price.
Well, that's the gamble Mark Jackson has to take. If he comes up real tight on him, Price can get around him, so he's inviting him to the jumper, and Price is very good in that department as well.
17-12, turnover favoring the Cavaliers. John Battle drops it off for Nance.
It all started with the shot block. Ewing presented his move too softly. Boy, you can't go up and expect to take a shot moving at half speed against the Cleveland Cavs.
And
I can't see that.
I scored 2 runs today, but
will all be part of
moment for David Justice and Lori Petty of the losing homeboys. They lost to the away Boise 11-2.
11-2.
back underway. John Starks attempted an alley-oop for Xavier McDaniel. And Mark Price drains it at the other end.
Right? I felt like I hit at least one.
Daniel spins to the middle. Starks clogged it up, and that forced the travel. McDaniel did not expect to see John Starks filling the lane, and it changed the way he moved to the hoop.
Well, with Starks comes his defensive man, and that took away the room.
We talked about shot blocking at the outset of this game. The Cavaliers have already compiled 3. Larry Nance with 2 of those. What a pass from Price to Darling.
And Knicks' hands have to be up with all this fast motion of the Cavs. Knicks have got to make sure their hands are up, and when you're distracted by the movement of the offense, sometimes your tendency is to be satisfied just running with them. The hands must be up.
Mark Jackson with a beautiful teardrop. Knicks regain the lead, 19-18.
It's amazing to see him do that right in the presence of Doherty and Nance.
Cavaliers had reeled off 8 straight points until that drop by Mark Jackson. John Battle, or he gets up high on his jump shots. An unfriendly bounce. Oakley for Jackson for Starks. For 3. John Starks, who has been really shooting them. Coming into today, and in his last 9 games, he had made 24 of 48 for 50% beyond the 3-point line. So make it 25 of his last 49.
Yes, he has become serious with that 3-point shot. Lenny Wilkins and every other coach knows about it as well.
Nance switches hands in midair. Well, Larry Nance missed his first 5, but he's found a way to make 2 in a row. He's 2 for 7 now, approaching the last minute in the first quarter.
Very big, formidable front line now. Nance at 6'10", John Williams and Brad Doherty.
John Starks. Xavier McDaniel comes away from that exchange under the basket with a slight limp. Now seems to be running it off. Good team steal by the Knicks. Jackson behind the back. Oakley leading the way, and the foul. Beautifully taken up the floor by the Knicks.
Mark Jackson with an outstanding recovery and handling of the basketball. And how about Oakley? Take another look at it now. Price was shut down on this play. Jackson behind the back to avoid Doherty. Charles Oakley with the one dribble and smoothly going up to that basket with a perfect layup, and he drew the foul.
6 points for Charles Oakley, a chance to make it 7. Oakley coming off a game in which he played only 17 minutes, and over his last 11 games, he has pulled down but single-digit rebounds. So this is a bit of a dry spell for Charles Oakley.
In that 17 minutes, though, against the Hawks, he had 7 rebounds.
Price pulls up using the screen well. Quick release, quick footwork.
Greg Anthony is not going to give the Knicks the offense and the leadership that Jackson does. He better supply defense. He's got to take something away from Price. He's not going to play him even offensively.
Anthony drops it off for Ewing, meets Price in the lane, and he pokes the ball away. 3-on-1.
Good play by Anthony. Foul call, however. But it was good defensive transition by Anthony. This team is too solid to try and back in as Ewing did. Price broke it up. Nice pass off to Doherty. And the foul, however, by the quick retreating Greg Anthony.
Pat Riley's going to go to Kiki Vandeweghe now and use his third substitution. Already a fourth substitution. Mason, Anthony, and Starks already in the game. And here comes Kiki. He'll replace Charles Oakley. Well, the scoring story for Cleveland is Mark Price 10, Brad Doherty with a potential of 10 after these two free throws.
Brad Doherty still leading the NBA in centers from the assist category. Excellent passer.
Starks. What a move to get around and underneath Brad Doherty. Not sure how he got the shot off.
And he beat a fast John Battle as well.
Clock ticking down. A foul on the release. And that does not please Pat Riley. The foul with 2.2 to go, and that'll send Mark Price to the free throw line.
You want to talk about amazing statistics. Mark Price has not missed a free throw against the Knicks in more than 3 years. Unbelievable. 34 straight.
So what?
Good deal.
He's killed the Knicks. He's averaged 23 points in the 3 games they've played this season, 9 assists. He came into today's game shooting 61%.
How about this, Al, too? He's taken 263 foul shots this year coming in tonight. He's missed 13.
And as if the guy,
He's the best in the NBA.
as if the guy doesn't have enough talent, John, before tonight's game, they played a video of Mark Price performing and singing in a concert after a Cavs game recently, and he sounded great. Mark Price doing it all in Richfield. First quarter for Charles Oakley, a busy and successful one. Back to the Richfield Coliseum in a moment. If you'd like to know why the Knicks feel they've given the last game away to the Cleveland Cavaliers, watch Greg Anthony steal an inbound. Knicks by 1. Should never have driven to the basket. That turns into a 3-point play for Craig Elo. And when the Knicks had a last chance at the shot, Greg Anthony had a chance to redeem himself, but failed, and the Knicks were losers 108 to 106. Part of the history that the Knicks and Cavaliers bring with them into today's game.
That was part of Greg Anthony's growing in the NBA. A very difficult conclusion to that game, a 2-point loss for the Knicks. Meanwhile, right here, Brad Doherty starts out facing the hoop from the corner and dribbles his way into a foul. Doherty not only, you know, he's so deceptive because he starts his career as a bulky guy back to the basket. Now people are seeing him as a guy who's in the front of fast breaks. A man who can dribble the ball successfully like a fleet-footed forward like Larry Nance, who's just leaving the game. He has really grown as a player.
Charles Oakley returning for the Knicks. Patrick Ewing will take a rest. You saw Mike Sanders, who started for Cleveland, returning in place of Larry Nance. Brad Doherty, by the way, in March became the Cavaliers' all-time leading rebounder, taking over for Jim Jones. Didn't get the job done there from the line. It's 29-26, Knicks by 3. Greg Anthony picked up by Terrell Brandon, the rookie. Kiki Vandeweghe for Oakley. He's way off. Followed inside unsuccessfully, and Mike Sanders is there for the rebound.
That was Greg Anthony way up.
Hot Rod Williams commits the offensive foul as he tried to feed Brad Doherty on the baseline. So one of the richer men in basketball, who plays exclusively off the bench, commits a foul early in his appearance today.
Yes, John Williams got that $28 million contract a couple of years ago, thanks to the Miami Heat's offer.
John Starks, guarded by John Battle, which the Cavaliers matched. Sorry to cut you off there, John.
Well, the Cavs matched it, and he lives a nice life now.
Greg Anthony, 4 on the 24-second clock. Blocked on the fall away. Not a good shot. Brandon pulls up over Mason. And Anthony Mason finally gets the rebound. Just underway in the second quarter.
Knicks have a real height problem against them now. Doherty at 7 feet, Williams 6'11".
Starks for his second three-pointer. This time he's off. Followed by Mason. And it'll be against Cleveland.
Mike Sanders.
Mike Sanders commits the foul.
That's his second, team first.
Second foul on Sanders. Fast pace to the game. Last time we checked, John, 25 of the combined points in this game had been scored on the fast break. Vandeweghe tries to set the block for Anthony. That draws Doherty out on him. Vandeweghe winds up in the mix all alone. And misses the shot. John Battle guarded by Anthony, and he goes right at him.
The ball is on number 2, Greg Anthony.
Greg Anthony is called on the foul. That will send John Battle to the line. Second quick foul on Greg Anthony.
As you look at the Knicks lineup out there now without Ewing, it's very important that they get contributions from Kiki Vandeweghe. Kiki has to have very good feelings about the Cleveland Coliseum. However, it was on January 18th in the Knicks' prior visit here that he broke out. He had not played in 9 out of 10 prior games for the Knicks. He was the forgotten man. And he came out and lit it up for 22 points, 9 out of 14 from the field in only 29 minutes, and became a player that Pat Riley then used quite frequently. He played his way back on the team last time in Cleveland.
John Starks drawing a crowd. Anthony the crossover. And the foul will be called on Terrell Brandon.
That'll be his first personal foul. Team second.
Brandon, the rookie 11th pick in the first round out of Oregon. He's had a sporadic first season. One game he won't play. The next game he'll be dishing off 13 assists as he did last month. Greg Anthony, who's been shooting the ball so much better lately, misses there, followed by Oakley.
How about Oakley getting inside of Brad Doherty for the rebound? So tough to do that generally, but particularly when the guy's a 7-footer as Doherty is.
Well, position is everything, and Oakley had it there, and the foul on Doherty is his second. Doherty is pulled by Lenny Wilkins, and Larry Nance returns. Brandon on Anthony, Nance on Mason. Oakley with Hot Rod Williams. Starks left free, Battle in the crowd. Following a big rebound by Vandeweghe. For Anthony Mason.
Nice move by Mason. That was a tough shot, tougher than it looked.
That was a very tall rebound by Kiki Vandeweghe as well. Knicks by 3, 9:20 to go in the half. John, there really aren't 19,000 here, are there?
It's quiet at this moment.
Larry Nance, powerful, drops off for Hot Rod Williams. They say it counts. Pat Riley is furious. Just beating the 24-second clock. Starks tries to go all the way, drops for Oakley. Starks tries to steal it back, but out comes Terrell Brandon.
That's what Charles pays the price for going up laterally on his layups instead of going up straight up.
10 on the 24. A beautiful shot by John Battle. Now, John, one of the things we've seen frequently already in the first half is the Knicks' desire to drive to the basket and look for someone to dish off to and trying to beat the height of Cleveland inside. That time they went for the outside jumper. Battle at the other end. There'll be an offensive foul against John Battle.
Well, they're playing again now, going back to what Pat Riley said to us before the game, is to take the shots when they appear. Don't try and drive everything because of that shot-blocking prowess that the Cavs present. I don't think they're getting enough 15-foot jump shots, though.
Kiki Vandeweghe so far hasn't been able to put any points up. John Starks.
That's exactly what we're talking about, what Pat Riley wants to see. 15, 16-foot jump shots.
Let's go!
Brandon assuming the point. Clark Price on the bench. 10 on the 24. Battle way outside. Nance with 5 on the 24. Backing in on Mason.
Nice job by Mason.
Strong rebound by Oakley. Just couldn't control it, and it's foul, followed by Hot Rod Williams. looking at on Battle.
Oh, just perfect. Pick and roll play. Starks draws the two defenders, finds Oakley wide open, and Charles comes through.
Oakley's having himself a fine first half. 4 of 8 from the floor, 9 points. That'll be an offensive foul on Terrell Brandon.
Timeout, Cleveland. Cavs timeout.
And a timeout on the floor as John Williams goes over to Brandon and says, just take it easy. Meanwhile, Oakley's been a big part of the Knicks story.
For the autograph of Coach Lenny Wilk.
Did you tell your boss you're quitting?
Well, John Starks moments ago with John Battle in front of him. John sees the pick from Oakley. Williams jumps out. No rotation by the Cavs to bother Charles Oakley. They're not respecting Charles's jump shot. And he has surprised them today by hitting a couple.
Knicks taking more than their share of shots, but only hitting 25% of them. Kiki Vandeweghe knocks that percentage down another couple of notches. The Knicks have gotten those extra shots by working the offensive boards. Mike Sanders guarded by Vandeweghe. Knicks lead it by 1. They were led by as many as 7. Brandon. John Williams. Big effort.
Boy, that was an example. Who's got the stronger hands? Williams won out.
Time remaining there in the first half. Patrick Ewing takes off his warm-up jacket. He gets set to check back in. Steve Kerr on John Starks. Larry Nance guarding Anthony Mason with the ball. Mason all net on the fall away.
Most impressive.
Xavier
4 inches taller than Mason.
Xavier McDaniel gets ready with Patrick Ewing to re-enter the game. Mike Sanders for a scampering Steve Kerr. Poked away by Starks. 5 on the 24. Sanders is open. I think Oakley got a fingertip on that shot. It still switched through. Greg Anthony for the cutting Vandeweghe. He's hammered on the drive.
Hey, how about Anthony's movement? Boy, did he set the tempo.
On Larry Nance. That's his first.
First foul on Larry Nance. Patrick Ewing returns. So far 1 for 4 from the field in the game. And 2 fouls.
Greg Anthony set up Vandeweghe so beautifully by racing that ball up court.
First point for Kiki Vandeweghe. Kiki drops them both, and the Knicks have the lead again. 39-38, 5:20 to go. John Starks screams out as he gets to Steve Kerr, and Kerr was unfazed. Nance for John Williams. Number 18 for Steve Kerr. Gets through the Knicks sandwich and puts an amazing spin on the ball to drop it in.
What's amazing, too, is that there wasn't a foul call to give him a 3-point play.
Steve Kerr relegated for most of this season to the bench. He only appeared in 26 of the first 60 games. But now an important contribution. Good hustle by the Knicks inside and Greg Anthony.
Pat Riley screaming on the arm, meaning Ewing he thought was fouled.
Starts for 3. And now play gets a little bit more physical underneath. Larry Nance with a lot of banging before he got that rebound. Wilkins and Mark Jackson getting set to return.
Mark Price is getting a very long rest.
Mike Sanders, nice turnaround.
Sanders gives this team a small forward who can score. They won so much of the way this year with Winston Bennett as a starter, but they haven't been getting reliable scoring from the small forward position until Sanders arrived.
Greg Anthony uses the Ewing screen. Cavaliers have, at least for the past few minutes, closed off the offensive rebounds the Knicks have been getting. And Steve Kerr, the NBA's all-time 3-point percentage shooter, puts the Cavaliers in front by their biggest margin so far. Return to New York tonight is at the Paramount. This crowd is a lot more into things, and the Knicks have seen this game turn the wrong way. The outside jumpers that were falling earlier suddenly aren't going. Cleveland has turned up their defense, and they're rebounding. Patrick Ewing well short. Cavs by 6. They'll try to make it more. Terrell Brandon didn't seize the moment, but pokes the ball away. They'll say it's Knicks ball.
Crowd's alive now, Al.
No doubt. Knicks with a disaster here in the second quarter. 4 of 18. Ewing backing in on Williams. He's off again. Kerr. This'll hurt.
The guy is an amazing long-range shooter. He's repeating the NBA's all-time three-point shooter, percentage-wise.
John, if you think Steve Kerr is hot, you're right. He's hit 13 of his last 17 three-pointers.
And he just knocked that ball loose, too. He plays both ends.
A mad scramble. Kerr was on the floor. Terrell Brandon was on the floor. And that hustle gets the crowd going. But they say it was last touched by Cleveland as Mark Price, who should be well rested, comes back in. Price and Kerr then back at their starting guard positions. Mark Jackson. Knicks can't buy one. McDaniel slows down Cleveland by smacking it out of bounds.
The Cavs are owning the Knicks boards, too. Between Nance and Williams, the Knicks aren't getting second shots.
It is a 28-12 run by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Knicks led at one point, 17-10. McDaniel. All the Knicks are short. Somebody's raised the hoop. Price. Approaching 2 minutes to go in the half. Oh, Larry Nance started 0 for 5, but he's got it going now.
Well, you got a guy like Nance at 6'10", shooting 20-foot jump shots. Sanders as well. There's so much balance here being shown by the Cavaliers on offense.
What a turnaround, John, in this first half as Pat Riley calls a 20-second timeout. The Knicks once led by 7, and now they're down by 11.
It's been an offensive explosion. You know, this is a franchise that has been frustrated the last couple of years due to injury problems, and they've got it all together this year, and they have every reason to think they can go far until they run into Chicago, that is.
Exactly.
Nice pass back from Price. Little pick and roll play. That's a longer shot than it looked in replay, however.
Larry Nance, 3 of 9, missed his first 5, as I said, 6 points. Mark Price all over Mark Jackson. Drops off to get into the screen, and a foul inside.
Foul is on Hot Rod Williams.
John Williams is called on the foul.
The penalty for Hot Rod. That is his.
Al, you can't overestimate the importance of contributions from Xavier McDaniel, I feel. Ewing's going to get his points. Oakley, it seems, has already gotten his. Where's it going to come from up front? McDaniel or the other forward has got to chip in.
And everybody seems to have gone cold. McDaniel right now in the game is 0 for 2. He's only taken 2 shots. Kiki came off the bench. He couldn't hit. Oh,
Way short.
a line drive by Patrick Ewing. 50-40, Cleveland in front. John Williams with great agility takes Ewing outside. Quick look by Price. Sanders.
Hey, Sanders can shoot that basketball. That was a tough shot.
And Price got him the ball at exactly the right moment. Mark Price is really giving it to the Knicks again. McDaniel rejected. Another shot blocked by the Cavaliers. One minute to go in the half. Kerr double team, drops it off for Nance. Sanders slapped away by Ewing, but following his own shot.
Hey, this guy's 6'6". And he's eating up the Knicks.
He's 6'6", and he was tossed aside by the Indiana Pacers back in November. Ewing sets the screen. Price gets hit hard. McDaniel. Maybe he's found the range, and the Knicks need it desperately. The time in this half is running out. 35 seconds to go. Cavs by 8.
Sanders is happy about that. He's bending over now. I mean, he's hurting. He's so tired.
Well, he really is sucking wind. Price around 3 Knicks. Larry Nance hits another one from distance. Time ticking down on the Knicks. Down by 10. Or rather 56 to 42. Patrick Ewing at the buzzer. Well, I don't know if a coach can make the shot fall with any sort of a halftime talk, but that was one of the primary problems. The other one was the rebounding, which was completely recaptured by Cleveland in the second quarter.
Their intensity level went way up, and they surpassed the Knicks in that department in the second quarter.
If you're watching live, Craig Elo will be with us. If you're watching tonight on MSG, you'll hear the latest from the sports desk and more. Cavs by 12 at the half.
I just can't believe that if you have an ability, that you don't have an obligation to yourself, your team, and to God to go out and do what you got to do. Pussyfooting in the daisies makes me sick to the stomach. Are you going to go out and license let somebody on you? Some of you guys would. Some of you guys wouldn't make a damn bit of difference in life. Just let somebody push you in the face and on you. If you can't have any more guts out in the basketball court than you had today, then you're going to lose in life. It's my fault. I'm the leader of the ship. I'm not embarrassed about the people that showed up here. I'm not embarrassed about the media. They ain't your friends anyway. I'm embarrassed for you as people. If you're going to spend a lifetime letting people on you and tell you it's raining, then you're stupid, and you're not stupid. Get dressed and get home and get the hell to bed. 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And I better not hear any smiling or laughing on the damn bus.
This CBS Sports Special will return after this message and a word from your local station.
The case with you? I would have to agree with that, because I have picked up a lot of things where, you know, where guys gamble, and sometimes you don't need that, and I do that an awful lot. So yeah, sitting back watching, I've learned a few things. Plus, I'd recommend 2 weeks off for anybody. It's a wonderful feeling.
We got a couple of months in the summertime, though, but it's been a long year for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Could this be the year for this team?
I think so. For some reason, I got a real gut feeling about the way the team's been playing, and especially the last month. We got a better feeling going into the playoffs than we've had in the past, and I think we want to prove to people that we can make it to the conference finals.
What's with the Chicago Bulls, though? Do they have a hold on you people that seems to be something that you can't get through? They seem to always do well when the Cavs are in town.
For some reason, that rivalry we created with them, maybe it was from the 2 years that we faced them in the playoffs. It's just been they've had our number since then. We've only beaten them 1 out of 14 times, so I'm going to go with the law of averages, though. I say we beat them this time around just because of the law of averages.
You heard Boston got them today without Larry Bird.
I saw that score, and that makes it reasonable for us to think that we can beat them.
Okay, Craig, now give us an idea of what happened in the second quarter today. Your team came out, I thought, a little, not lethargic, but they didn't seem to be as sharp as the Knicks, and then all of a sudden the sky fell in on the Knicks. How would you describe what happened?
Well, just listening in on the huddle there, Coach Wilkins said you've got to pick up the defense a little bit and keep them off the boards, no second shots, and we were able to do that. And that defense created a lot of offense for us, plus we hit some outside shots. Kerr hit some threes, and that kind of stuff gets this team going.
Kerr is a remarkable long-range shooter, and what a fill-in for you. Tremendous pride in the depth on this team, isn't there?
That's why we're able to win. In the past, we haven't had that depth, and this year we have it. So if we had any injuries, we weren't worried about it. And Steve's done a remarkable job. All he needed was a little confidence. He's up there in the league leaders of three-point shooting. So, anytime he's out there, I feel like he's going to make that shot better than he has a chance of making a layup.
Greg, what's it like playing for Lenny Wilkins? Looks like a very quiet guy. Those of us that know him see him that way. What's he like, though, in the huddle when he wants his team to perform hard?
Well, he's pretty quiet to the rest of the guys, but to me, he really gets on me. But in the huddle, he's very in control. He's a thinking man, so he's always thinking what we can do next to get a basket or stop someone. So I like the way he coaches. His philosophy's great. He's been around the league a long time, so he knows what's going on. If we just listen to him, things usually go right. It's when we don't listen that we get in trouble.
Greg Elo, a very good student, a good listener. That's very important to your success, and it's proven well because you've had a career that seems to be getting better and better. Thank you for visiting with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the playoffs, Greg.
We'll probably meet y'all somewhere down the line, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, Craig Elo joining us, getting back from his injury. Now let's go back to Al Troutwig.
All right, John, Craig definitely one of the good guys in this league now in his 9th season out of Washington State. Knicks have a big problem at the half, and we'll tell you how some of this happened when we get back to the Coliseum in Richfield in a moment on 4 points.
Plenty of tickets remain for...
Well, welcome back. Certainly, if you were with us in the first few minutes of this game, it looked as though this was going to be a good day for the Knicks. Shots were falling. Knicks were hustling. Cleveland looked as though they were out of it. And then Lenny Wilkins called a timeout, and things dramatically changed.
Yes, this team went to work, and it shows the quality of the Cleveland Cavaliers to do what they did. They outscored the Knicks, as you mentioned, Al, 2-1 in the second quarter, and they out-rebounded them. They just killed them for a second quarter, and fortunately for the Knicks, they got reminded relatively early in the game what can happen. So they have a lot of work to do now in the second half. Our halftime highlights will give you a pretty good idea of how things went in this one. And they're brought to you by Minolta, creators of the world's most responsive SLR cameras, the new Maxim XI series. Get a look at ball movement. You'll get to see some outside shots falling. This is the beginning. Well, the Knicks started sharply, moving the ball around, spreading it out well. Mason returning the pass, and then John Starks, who came in off the bench, got things going with a long jump shot. The game had a fast pace, John, and the Knicks were the ones who set that pace. Yes, both teams were running very well. In fact, the Knicks seemed to drag the Cavs into a running game. Mark Price's amazing attempt at recovery, however, failed. And the Knicks were on their way to a three-point play with Charles Oakley at the end of a break. Enter Steve Kerr, who made the most out of his 15 minutes. Well, Steve Kerr started 12 out of the last 13 games with our halftime guest out, Craig Elo, and what a shot he made on a drive to the basket. And then you've got the Cavalier defense, which was turned up a notch in the second quarter. They always want the ball to go to Price's hands. He goes down the middle and takes Mark Jackson left. Works one in off the backboard. What a package he is. Well, this is very similar to the last game in Richfield. Back and forth. Right now it favors the Cavaliers, and it favors them by a dozen. We'll be back for the second half on MSG in a moment.
There's one that will carry. Ball is gone. Wow, what a shot by Matt Noakes.
It's the Cleveland Cavaliers 56, the New York Knicks 44. On the halftime stat sheet, Cleveland shooting 59%, the Knicks at 39%. But what a deceptive 39% that is. Here's how it shaped up in the first quarter. Knicks are on target to roll through the Cavs the way they started the game. But in the second quarter, things changed dramatically. The sky fell in on the Knicks. 6 out of 24 from the field. The Cavs got red hot. Sanders off the bench. Actually, no, he was a starter, but he didn't score in the first quarter, but he got hot in the second quarter. Also pulled down 6 rebounds in the half as the Cavaliers dominated the boards. And the shot blocking is a factor, as the Knicks had expected, and as the stat sheets would expect you to believe. 6-1. They are 4 and 5 respectively. Nance 4th in the NBA in shot blocking. Ewing 5th. Looking at our Toyota matchup. We see Mark Price following the pattern he has followed all year.
by being a very difficult player for Mark Jackson and the Knicks to contain. And he sat out for quite a stretch in the second quarter.
And we've sung the praises of Mark Price, John, but there is no better testament to the fact that last year the Cleveland Cavaliers were a 33-49 team, and right now they stand where they stand with 51 wins, and the difference is Mark Price. He missed all but 16 games a year ago because of knee surgery, and the Cavaliers picked this one up right where they left off.
Now, Steve Kerr just entered double figures. They have 3 players in double figures. The Knicks are yet to have a player to hit that.
Ewing pounded by Doherty. Now triple team. That leaves Jackson open for a 3. Rebound McDaniel. Well, that defensive commitment to Patrick Ewing of 3 Cavaliers changed things around. That allowed Jackson's open shot and Xavier McDaniel's inside rebound. Way off is Gerald Wilkins. That'll be a foul against the Knicks.
Number 34,
And Charles Oakley.
That's your second team first.
Second foul on Oakley. Knicks' magic number to clinch the Atlantic Division title was 4, but they didn't get helped out today as the Boston Celtics beat Chicago in Boston by 11. Pat Riley says, go, go, go. Push it up, and that's what Jackson does. Oakley's open. Charles Oakley continues his good shooting. He's 5 of 9. That's 11 points for Charles.
Charles wins the race as the first Knick to enter double figures.
Larry Nance bothered by Oakley. Have the Cavaliers lost their touch? The Knicks have to play like they have. Now, good defense by the Cavaliers on that drive by Jackson.
Well, they worked with him this time. John Williams and I should say Brad Doherty did not let Mark get that soft shot up.
Well, John, it's no coincidence that when you think of defenses in this league that force you to change shots, not necessarily block them all the time, but just change your shot. You think of what Chicago did when they turned it up at the Garden the other night, and you think of what you just saw on that Mark Jackson drive, except it's happening many times throughout the game. Doherty draws Ewing way outside. Jackson goes for the steal. Mark Price comes up short. Bad pass by Jackson, intercepted by Kerr. Up is Nance. With Price, they work the 1-2, and Mark Jackson grabs Larry Nance.
Well, you play with Mark Price, you know you're going to get the ball back.
And you've got to be ready for it at every moment. Minutes and 43 seconds to go in the third.
The last 2 games, Nance has had a total of 7 blocks. In fact, make that 11 over the last 3 games coming in today.
He had a game earlier this season in which he had 7 blocks in 7 minutes against the Charlotte Hornets. Beautiful alley-oop. Xavier McDaniel drops it in as opposed to slamming it down.
Nice look from Oakley.
It's an 11-point lead, 1 less than it was at halftime. Doherty. And it's saved by Nance. Kerr draws Oakley. Price. Not a good pass from Price, and that's certainly a rarity. Jackson ahead of the field, and Kerr lets him go. It is a 9-point Cleveland lead.
Timeout. Cleveland Cavs timeout. Ladies and gentlemen.
A good stretch by the Knicks as Lenny Wilkins shaking his head. As we welcome you back to Richfield, the Knicks have gotten off to a pretty good start in this third quarter. They've made 3 of their 6 shots, while Cleveland has made but 1 of 4. The Knicks are relying on what has saved so many a game, and that's their defense. But Mark Price beats them there. It is a 61-50 lead for Cleveland.
He has so many ways to get a shot up. It's amazing.
McDaniel spins from Sanders. Followed by Ewing, but no help there. Oakley goes down hard. Good look from Steve Kerr.
From Steve Kerr.
And suddenly, when it looked like the Knicks were able to start building on something, they've given the lead back and more. 10 on the 24 for Ewing. Bounces off Doherty. Draws another defender, and Ewing does it the easy way. Comes up scowling.
Yes, he does. It was directed at Gerald Wilkins, but I think it would have been whoever he faced as a teammate. Charles giving that attitude of, we want more out here.
Charles Oakley may have hurt himself on that last trip to the Knicks end of the floor when he fell down. Now a turnover. Oakley's having trouble running. Well, we'll see. Oh, nice pass. And suddenly Oakley's become Mr. Assist in this second half.
He always looks to give the ball up first before he thinks about shooting.
And now he looks like he's shaking it off. 63-54 Cavaliers. Nance is able to save it right in front of Ewing. We checked the stat sheet, and Charles Oakley has 4 assists.
Just an outstanding effort by Nance to get that ball loose.
Wilkins pulls it outside. Pat Riley says, move, move. Oakley too hard on the pass, gets off the hands of Ewing. And Kerr is hammered to the floor by Jackson. And it's going to be a flagrant foul on Mark Jackson. That means free throws and possession.
Take a look at it now. Does Jackson play the ball?
Mark Jackson answers.
I think that's a good call, John.
Like the left hand was in there, though. I thought that Kerr was going to try and do that look away and then keep the ball. You know, where he put the ball on his hip and then keep it. I thought Jackson had the left hand in there, though, trying to get the ball. But to avoid violence or any suggestion of it, the officials are calling him very tight.
Well, you don't see it often. As a matter of fact, when you really should see it in the late stages of games when they really are intentional and flagrant frequently, it isn't called. Kerr 1 of 2. And now the thing that really hurts, you give away the free throws and you give away possession again. (64-54). John Williams over McDaniel. Way off.
You see the presence of Kerr and Price, two guys who are, they're probably the best as a guard tandem at shooting three-point shots, opens that floor up so much for the big men because you've got to guard them outside.
McDaniel whips it inside for Patrick, goes up and travels. Ewing, obviously, not liking the call.
Well, looking at our Dutch boy in the paint numbers, the Cavs leading and rebounding, only 2 ahead of the Knicks in the paint. Very tight game around the basket today.
Mark Price waits for the moment. The moment is now. John Williams fouled on the dunk attempt. That was power against power on that jump.
Well, Ewing didn't want to let it happen and did all he could to stop it. Williams with the momentum, crashing in, looking for the stuff.
I think, John, maybe one of the most remarkable things about Price is the timing of his passes. You never see a player get a pass where it doesn't mean something. John Williams hits the first. I mean, a lot of times offenses, you'll pass a ball just to pass, or you'll pass a ball and the guy will be in the wrong stride. Every time he passes the ball, it seems to be right.
That was Ewing's 3rd personal, by the way.
John Williams drops them both, 66-54, and even doesn't. That was the halftime margin. Ewing sees McDaniel. And Oakley can't save it inside.
That rebound was controlled by Nance, Al. You see how he just guided it right to Price.
Price, overplayed by Ewing. Doherty and the fans wanted a foul, and they got one. Unfortunately, it's against Cleveland and Price.
Yes, Ewing was very aggressive in not allowing that ball to come into Doherty.
And he forced this pass.
Good Ewing leaning out, leaning up. And he had the hand in there when the Price pass came in, and Price responded by fouling Jackson.
First team foul against Cleveland, so the Knicks inbound it. Go to Ewing. And Cleveland comes out again.
There's a toughness level at the Knicks end, but it's from Cleveland, not from the Knicks.
Patrick Ewing leads Gerald Wilkins, followed by Jackson. No look, McDaniel. The Knicks within 10. 4:53 to go. Now, for as much as Cleveland seems to be dominating this quarter, they have not been able to pull away. And part of the reason is their shots are not falling as they did in the first half. Ball on the end line. It will be Cleveland ball. That was a weird exchange. It looked as though the whistle could have been blown on a variety of occasions.
5 seconds to shoot. 5 seconds to shoot.
Pat Riley very active in front of us here on press row. 5 seconds for the Cavaliers to get a shot off.
Mike Sanders in now for Nance.
Kerr on the inbound. Sanders battles his way through the crowd. Good defense by the Knicks. Patrick Ewing was all over Mike Sanders. Jackson looking for X-Man.
Boy, Sanders is tough physically. He made X-Man move out another step and makes him take a very difficult shot. McDaniel somehow was able to can it.
Xavier McDaniel makes it a 66-58 game. Is this the beginning of a Knick move? We'll see.
Decision out of anger or frustration. I feel that in my heart it's time for a change and it's time for me to move on.
I have nothing but positive things to say about Shaquille, and I wish him the very best in his professional career and his personal life. I'll miss him, but I'll miss him more as a person than I will a basketball player.
The college basketball season will end here in Minneapolis tomorrow night. And though they didn't make it to the Final Four, Coach Brown and his Tigers will enjoy many good memories from this campaign, and so will we. We'd like to thank the low prices, access they allowed us, and their openness. We wish all of the Tigers success in whatever they do, and to Shaquille in his career to come. Fellas, it's been fun. I'm James Brown, and thank you for joining us in Shaq's house.
This CBS Sports Special has been sponsored by the People Discount.
Rule number 1.
Knicks with some good defense get a turnover, and it's an easy one. One of the rare easy baskets for the Knicks in this game. McDaniel hounded by Mike Sanders. David takes some time, eats some clock away, and then is able under great pressure to make that jump shot.
Both teams playing tight defense as Cleveland brings it up the floor. Brad Daugherty trying to draw Ewing outside. Ewing lays off. 7 on the 24. They give it to Mark Price. He finds John Williams, who finds Brad Daugherty, who finds the basket at the buzzer of the 24-second clock.
Good inside passing by big people. That's not an automatic quality. The Cavs handle the ball well.
Jackson gets around Mark Price. 10 points for Mark Jackson. McDaniel's in double figures too, so is Charles Oakley. Mark Price. Knick rebound by Ewing. Knicks down by 8. Jackson looks to McDaniel again. They want to exploit this matchup against Sanders. Wilkins. Gerald Wilkins, who has been on an enormous dry spell from three-point land, makes it a 5-point game. Ewing on Daugherty. Not a good pass. 2 on the 24. Daugherty is off, and the Knicks have a chance to shave even more off that 5-point lead.
And they are are going steadily to Xavier McDaniel, and he comes through again.
So Xavier McDaniel and Gerald Wilkins put a few hoops together. It's a 3-point game, 68-65. And again, the game has changed. It started Knicks. Second quarter Cavs. Third quarter, it's the Knicks' chance to get back. Doherty, good defense by Ewing, and he is called for the foul. That is 4 on Ewing.
Ewing played him well, but what Doherty does is create the problem by going towards the basket. Very careful move here by Doherty, slowly being executed. Then he takes it in toward Ewing, makes him foul him. That's what Ewing should do more of himself. Carry that body, guarding him toward the basket.
Patrick Ewing will take a rest with those 4 personal fouls. Anthony Mason checks into the game, so this is a lineup that'll be centered around Charles Oakley.
See, the fact of the matter is Pat Riley would have rested Ewing any time now, setting him up for the fourth quarter. So this loss of Ewing on the floor now would have taken place in the next few moments at any rate.
Mark Jackson. Well, the Knicks have found the range. This is everything they couldn't do in the second quarter. With 1:47 to go in the third, well, it's a 3-point game
also,
again.
Al, the Cavs have cooled off. That and the combined better defensive efforts by the Knicks have brought them right back.
Steve Kerr. Oh, what a rebound by Nance over the top of McDaniel. He lifts McDaniel off the floor. And Pat Riley is furious. He thinks Larry Nance went over the top.
The rare sight. 2 forwards in the NBA, and then one of them is off the ground. It's been a long time since the X-Man was carried, wouldn't you say, Al?
Yes. He was supposed to carry the Knicks.
About 28 years or so.
Price for 3. Oh, the timing of it. That's 17 points for Mark Price. 6-point lead for Cavaliers. Jackson tries to answer. It will be Nick Ball. And Pat Riley wants to call a timeout. A 20-second full timeout, rather, with 1 minute and 4 seconds to go. Cavaliers by 6. The bench with 4 fouls. Oakley's been working extremely hard all afternoon. Larry Nance came up short, and a foul is called. Foul is on Oakley. Now Pat Riley's got a problem. Charles Oakley's got 4. Patrick Ewing has 4.
There is more flexibility, though, with Oakley than there is with Ewing.
Larry Nance connects on the second. 36 seconds to go. Cavaliers by 7. Jackson draws 2 defenders. Mason scrambling. Xavier McDaniels had the hot hand in the third quarter. They try to clear it out against Williams. Oh, and Xavier McDaniel really found it. 14 points. How long has it been, John, since we've seen a continued performance by McDaniel like this?
Yeah, sometimes it comes in bursts in the first quarter, particularly recently, but now is when they really need him, and he's answering the call.
Oh, 4 seconds to go. Mark Price. A 3-pointer. And that'll be it. Mark Price says to the Knicks, not so fast, guys. So with 1 quarter to go, it's a 77-69 lead. The Knicks take 4 points away from the Cavaliers' halftime advantage. You know, when it comes to something like breast cancer, knowledge is everything. Well, at the Pistons-Knicks game at the Garden April 7th, the Knicks Wives and the American Cancer Society will distribute free information on early detection and treatment of breast cancer. Please find this information and read it. It could help save your life. And some of the Knicks Wives will join us on our post-game report on Tuesday night to discuss how you can find out more about this important effort. On we go into the fourth quarter. Here's how it's gone in the different quarters. The Knicks really fell apart in the second, recaptured some of their stuff in the third. 77-69. McDaniel drives on Doherty. Jackson for Starks just off the bench. Starks followed inside by Mason, tries to get his own rebound, and John Starks will be called for the foul.
John Williams made him change the shot. The point you were discussing before, Al, not necessarily shot blocking that makes tough defense, but the ability to change the shot, and that's what Williams' presence did to John Starks.
That's how things went in the third quarter as far as the shooting goes. The Knicks 55%. Well, that was some alley-oop attempt for John Williams. Anthony Mason will be called on the foul. John, we talked about Xavier McDaniel, hot hand. Well, in the third quarter, McDaniel went 6 of 8 for 12 points. He now has 16 in the game. First minute of the fourth.
Kerr not happy about the elbow Starks gave him in the back.
Williams dumps it for Doherty, guarded by Oakley. Both Oakley and Ewing have 4 fouls. Terrell Brandon into the game for Lenny Wilkins and Cleveland. Doherty is fouled by McDaniel. Doherty looks like he's been shaken up.
Not to mention Xavier McDaniel giving the elbow to the head. Well, his bell is ringing.
McDaniel put his hand on his head as if he expected to find blood.
Oakley went for the steal. McDaniel made the good recovery, though, to deal with Doherty. But Doherty is a 7-footer. He's way up there, and he had the ball too close to the hoop.
16 points for Brad Doherty and 5 rebounds.
One of the amazing statistics attributed to Brad Doherty this year is he's outscored his opponent's starting center in 57 of his 66 games.
Well, the Cavs, a good free throw shooting team. As a matter of fact, the number 2 free throw shooting team in the NBA get 2 from Brad Doherty. Under 11 minutes to go. It's a 10-point lead again for Cleveland.
Pat Riley undoubtedly will go to Ewing at any moment.
Xavier McDaniel off on the long-range shot. They'll call a loose ball foul on John Williams.
Oh, the whole coaching staff on Cleveland can't believe it. It looked like Mason pushed off Williams, but the foul went against Williams.
Third foul on the man they call Hot Rod. Now the Cavaliers, after the Knicks put together a run in the third, have a 9-2 run going here in the fourth. Jackson looking inside for Mason. He's thrown aside by Doherty. Some battle going on there. McDaniel, the running look. Mason somehow winds up with it. And it'll be Cavaliers ball.
I mean, it's such a tall front line now. Doherty 7 feet. Nance 6'10". Williams 6'11". When the Knicks get inside the foul line, whether it be Mason or McDaniel, they are looking up.
Knicks are unable to make anything happen in the lane, and they need the outside shooting to help bring the Cleveland defense out. Open up, give them some space. Patrick Ewing back in for the Knicks. Starks guarding Kerr. McDaniel on Nance. Ewing on Doherty. Mason on Williams.
Unbelievable. The guy had hardly any room, and when it opened up, bang, it was 3.
15 points for Steve Kerr.
I mean, this is a guy who wasn't good enough out to play in the 3 prior games against the Knicks. They didn't need him.
Ewing blocked by Terrell Brandon from behind. And it counts for Anthony Mason with a foul.
Foul is on Larry Nance. That's his second.
Well, Mason keeps digging. He's dealing with very difficult size around him today. Ewing is rejected
by Brandon.
Ball comes back into Mason. His series of head fakes gets Nance off balance, and he's on his way to a 3-point play.
Xavier McDaniel will take a rest. Charles Oakley inserted once again. Pat Riley sees the need for muscle up front. He's got it. Mason, Oakley, Ewing with Starks and Anthony.
Well, the big story emerging here, Al, is the Cavs' containment of Ewing.
Nance for John Williams. He's played well. Air ball, I think it skipped off his fingertips. Ewing, by the way, has 8 points, 3 of 12 shooting. Greg Anthony dribbling the clock away. 8 on the 24. Stark for 3. And John Starks, at a very important time, makes an 82-75, a 12-point effort for Starks so far today. John Williams, guarded by Oakley, over for Kerr, gets away from Starks. Doherty runs into Ewing, ripped down by Oakley. Out comes Starks. Kerr is back with help from Nance.
Yes, the Cavs are so good in transition. Fast breaks are few and far between for the Knicks.
Greg Anthony. Starks, it's a three-point attempt. Out of bounds off of Doherty, I believe. It'll be Nick Ball.
The Knicks have got to make a better effort at looking for Ewing. They tend to forget sometimes his impact.
There's a lot of pushing and shoving, and Brad Doherty is overplaying the heck out of him. There's Ewing out near the three-point circle to get away from Doherty.
Ewing calling out for one.
A lot of space for Anthony if he can get by Brandon, but he can't. He cannot. Anthony had Ewing open in the corner, but elected to shoot. Mike Sanders, well short. Rebound Anthony. 3-on-2 if the Knicks can force it. Starts underneath Doherty. And out comes Steve Kerr. John Williams. 20-second timeout, says Pat Riley. Once again, just when it seemed as though the Knicks might have something going, Cleveland has the answer.
The contrast is really meaningful in the ability of the Cavs players, and I mean all of them, to shoot the basketball. Mason and Oakley have just cooled off. Mason's not going to shoot the long one either.
This program, authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated, solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated is prohibited. You know, John, you're right. You look out on the floor, give any one of the Cavaliers who was out there a 15-footer, and you wouldn't cringe.
Any one of those guys right now.
Sanders, Hot Rod, Brad Doherty. Well, John Battles just checked in a minute ago. It was Steve Kerr, Mark Price, take your pick. They're great. And Terrell Brandon. It is a 9-point difference with 7 minutes and 25 seconds to go.
In the 3 prior games, Ewing had put great pressure on Doherty and the Cavs. In this game, that is not happening. I think part of that reason is the Knicks are not going to Ewing enough, so he can put pressure on Brad Doherty.
18,566 near but not capacity watching in Richfield. And John Starks makes it 84-77. 14 points for Starks. Starks is 6 of 13 from the floor. Terrell Brandon guarded by Anthony. 10 on the 24. Swarming Knick defense. 5 on the 24. And Cleveland gets it inside the Doherty, but he can't drop it in. Ewing double teamed, almost coughed it up, but is fouled.
But his response was right on target as he had Williams and Doherty around him. He looked to pass.
Well, if you're looking for intensity in a game, we've got it here.
Cuter all all the way back, and it's gone!
Scored a game high.
This call to the bench is brought to you by New York Telephone. It reminds you the New York Telephone regional calling area is bigger than you think. The Knicks leading in the bench scoring department, led by John Starks, is 14 points. This guy usually comes off the bench for Cleveland, Steve Kerr. Look at that shooting. Perfect from the field with three-point shooting. And as we mentioned earlier, he's the best percentage three-point shooter in NBA history.
Lenny Wilkins giving Steve Kerr a break. Knicks down by 7. There'll be a foul inside. Anthony Mason has shot to the forehead. Just about everybody on the floor taking a few of their own lumps in this one. Fresh 24 for the Knicks. 6:24 to go in the fourth quarter.
Knicks making a better effort now to get the ball to Ewing.
On a beautiful running hook by Patrick Ewing. You don't see it that often.
You know, Riley designed that. He looked at Ewing all the way down the other end of the court as the Knicks is at the far end now. And he told Patrick where to stand, and he stood there, and the ball came to him, and good things happened.
John, I would guess this is a fun game to coach because you've been forced, if you're Riley or Lenny Wilkins, to make a lot of adjustments. A real challenge to your basketball expertise. Ewing rips it down.
The Cavs are missing now, and it's opening the door for the Knicks.
5:40 to go. Anthony fouled from behind by Mike Sanders, who can't believe it.
The foul is on Mike Sanders. That is his fourth.
Foul on Sanders, and Lenny Wilkins answers with Mark Price. Mark Jackson remains on the Knick bench. One is making his mark, the other is not.
When Mason's on the line in big moments, he has a very high percentage from the line.
Mason coming off a career high, tying 17 points. It's 1 of 2. It's a 4-point Cavalier lead. Knicks down by 12 at the half. Doherty dribbles away from Mason, draws Ewing 2 on the double team, and it's a race for the ball. Starks and Price. Backcourt violation. So the Knicks will have a chance to cut into the 4-point lead of Cleveland even more. Only 7 turnovers for the Knicks, 12 for Cleveland.
Immediate double team to Ewing from Williams.
Anthony Mason for Oakley draws 2 Cavaliers in the air, gets the hoop, and a free throw.
Foul on Larry Nance. He's third.
What's a great thing is that Ewing now is not really doing heavy scoring, but he's so into it. He sees a double team, immediately gives it up. Mason to Oakley, and the Knicks get 2. Very unselfish attitude going on out there.
Well, John, everyone's thinking playoffs, and of course the Knicks and Cavaliers have done a lot of thinking about each other, but I'm watching this game and I'm saying what a series that would be. The last 2 games, both won by Cleveland, were decided combined by 5 points, and this one looks like it could be destined for another buzzer-beating finish. Cavaliers by 1 with an even 5 to go. John Battle. John Battle off the bench.
That move is what makes him so tough, and that stopped an 8-0 run by the Knicks. The ability to dribble and shoot the jump shot immediately off the dribble.
Starks for Ewing. Oh, that'll be a foul on Oakley, and that'll be his 5th. That was a pretty obvious foul, actually a very obvious foul.
Yes, he brought Larry Nance down to the floor.
5 personal fouls for Charles Oakley. Patrick Ewing continues to play with 4.
Direction, that is the team 4.
4th foul on the Knicks. Just under 4.5 to go. John Battle trying to use that Doherty screen. Cuts away from Anthony and is fouled. Now the question is, who is it on? Oh, the Knicks get a break. It was on Anthony. Could have been on either one of them. And the fans realize it. They realize that a foul on Ewing would have been his fifth.
John Battle has hurt the Knicks this year. In fact, in their first game in New York, Al, in early January, Battle had an amazing game. 19 points, 6 out of 6 from the field, 7 out of 7 from the line.
Mark Jackson is reinserted for the stretch run. And the former Rutgers star, John Battle, scores 4 straight points for Cleveland. And it is an 88-83 5-point Cavalier lead. Jackson with Mason, Ewing, Starks, and Oakley. Almost lost by Starks. 10 on the 24. Knicks look to Patrick Ewing. And the foul.
Patrick Ewing. Foul is on Brad.
Patrick Ewing dribbling to his left, floating through the air, and dropping it in.
Talk about athleticism and the ability to deal with a man 7 feet coming at you and keep your concentration, and Ewing did it beautifully.
You may have seen there were just 7 seconds left on the 24-second clock as Pat Riley wants to talk it over with his guards.
Mark Jackson back on the scene now. That has become an automatic. That is the injection of Mark Jackson into the lineup when the game is really on the line as it is now.
Brad Daugherty to Mark Price. 2 All-Stars passing it back and forth. 8 on the 24. Price for 3. All Cavaliers on the rebound. 3.5 to go in the fourth. Price is fouled and almost drops it in.
Knicks have adjusted now defensively with John Starks, who committed the foul guarding Mark Price.
20 points for Mark Price as he steps to the line, having made his last 36 consecutive free throws against the Knicks.
Over a 3-year period.
John, he has now made 36 of 37.
Best foul shooter in the NBA, 95%.
Oh, the streak ends with a thud. The Knicks can only hope that their 9-game losing streak could end so rapidly. That's what they've done here at Richfield. Lost 9 straight. Stark for Ewing. 10 on the 24. Jackson. Stark for 3. And he drops it in, and the New York Knicks have taken over the lead for the first time since early in the second quarter.
A valiant effort here by the Knicks. Their hard work has paid off now.
Knicks have made 4 of 11 beyond the stripe. Cavs 6 of 9. Kerr and Price all a big part of that. Brad Daugherty over Ewing. That's 20 points for Brad Daugherty. 2:42 to go. Oh yes, the finish of this one looks like it will be special. Pat Riley in front of us, screaming, move it, Starks for another 3, and he hits!
Ron Starks, 3 points.
20 points for John Starks, and suddenly the Knicks lead is 2.
See a clutch shooter?
Jackson trying to stay with Price, he does, shutting him down at the baseline. Williams is open. Oakley the big rebound. The Knicks may have turned this game at just the right time.
Timeout, New York.
A timeout on the floor. The New York Knicks, with 2:07 to go, lead the Cavaliers.
It was just another Saturday afternoon until those old guys came out of the woods with axes. Just when we thought it couldn't get any weirder, it did. They even brought their own music.
Awesome! Hey, fellas, how about a cold bud?
A bud? Obviously, we thought alike.
Oh, let's go.
It's been a long comeback battle for the Knicks, but with 2:07 to go, they lead by 2.
John Starks, game on the line, coming through in major fashion. Another one. He's got 4 3-point makes in this game. 4 out of 6. for John Starks.
John, it's unbelievable. Starks over the last 10 games has made 50% of his free throws, 4 of 8 tonight. And that means he's 28 for his last 56. Unbelievable. Patrick Ewing well short. Under 2 minutes to go. Knicks have lost 9 straight here in Richfield, and both of these teams have won 13 of their last 15. Knicks have won 6 straight on the road. Cavs have won 11 straight here at the Coliseum. Something's got to give. Nance over the shoulder with a beauty. We're tied. Pat Riley calls out play number 1. 90 seconds. Jackson for Ewing, driving on Doherty, rejected by Williams.
Patrick's not used to beating his man and then having another big man come over.
Ewing slow to get back, almost committed a foul on Williams. John Battle, beautiful. That's 10 points for John Battle. He's had 6 in the last 7 minutes. Cavaliers by 2. John Battle hits a clutch 15-footer, and it is Cleveland by 2 with 1:06 to go. We've talked throughout the game about blocked shots, and it has been a tremendous factor. Cleveland's Cavaliers combining for 9 to the Knicks 1. And here may be the biggest of the game.
Well, the Knicks wanted the ball to go to Ewing, and it did. He beats Doherty. John Williams comes over to hang around, and he closes out Ewing's attempt. The other end, the Cavs move the ball in, then they move it out. And John Battle comes up big with a jump shot.
Patrick draws a smile from John Williams, and they're on their feet, almost 19,000 strong for the last minute of the last regular season game that these two teams will play. Jackson draws the double team. Takes it in on Price. Follows his own shot. Starks, Pat Riley calling out a play.
Boy, Battle's all over Starks. He doesn't want to see any more threes.
Jackson looking for Ewing. Finally gets it into it. Ewing outside for Jackson. 6 on the 24.
How about the Cavs defense?
Jackson knocked down. Unbelievable defense by Cleveland. Knicks never got a shot. On their second cycle of the 24.
Riley's imploring his team to put some pressure on the ball.
13 to go.
The pressure isn't strong enough.
Pat Riley was on the floor screaming out instructions. And the foul is finally committed with 10.3 seconds to go. John Battle is one of the better ones on a good free throw shooting team. John, I should try this hex thing more often.
85% foul shooter.
It's a 3-point lead. And the Knicks have one of the hottest 3-point shooters in the NBA on their side.
And the Cavs know it, Al.
10.3 seconds to go. One more play.
Don't be fooled by
3 seconds to go. The Cavaliers with a 3-point lead over the Knicks. The timeout situation with this limited amount of time left. 1 full for the Knicks and 3 combined times out for the Cavaliers. 3-point shooting is a primary concern for the Knicks right now. And John Starks has certainly had the hot hand.
Now, Pat Riley's inserted his shooters. They need a 3, no question about that, which means Kiki Vandeweghe and Gerald Wilkins have entered the picture here. Gerald, by the way, is second on the Knicks in 3-point makes. He's made 36 this year. And Vandeweghe third with 23. The Knicks have got to get a 3.
Vandeweghe finds Jackson. For Gerald Wilkins. Knicks running a weave. For Starks. He's doubled up. And fouled outside the 3-point line.
Wisely. Good foul by Cleveland.
2.6 seconds to go.
Knicks need 3 points. Starks gets on the line out, can give them 2.
So this is the one of the rule situations. While I'm sure it's debatable whether Starks was getting off a shot or not, you know, foul beyond that strike for the three free throws is something the NBA is going to have to look at.
Now Pat Riley puts in his rebounders.
And the Knicks call their last timeout. 2.6 seconds to go. One more free throw upcoming, and the Cavs lead is 2. A tough week for the Knicks continues on Tuesday. They'll take on the Detroit Pistons at the Garden. Our coverage begins with Tuesday game night at 7 o'clock. A busy day. That, of course, following opening day for the Yankees here on Tuesday on MSG.
Al, the Knicks in a huddle now, designing their strategy with 2.6 seconds to go. They're down 2. I think what we may have coming up now is a scrum. We may go the rugby approach here with the Knicks intentionally missing a foul shot.
It'll be a mess in there.
And throwing the bodies in there to try and get that loose ball and a foul or a follow-up field goal.
Well, Pat Riley has gone with Ewing, Oakley, Mason, Starks, and Gerald Wilkins. 2.6 seconds to go. Starks has 1 free throw left. The Knicks have no more timeouts. And we'll see what Pat Riley's come up with. Gerald Wilkins is way outside. Look for him to charge the hoop on the free throw. He's out of your picture. He'll soon be in it.
The Price is on his case.
Starks misses. It's rebounded by Doherty, and he's fouled with 1:23 to go.
Well, no question he was missing it because it looks like that's what, based on his reaction, you can see Price ready for Gerald too. He knows what's coming. Price wouldn't let him get in there.
Good job by Mark Price. And what about with everybody in the arena knowing that the Knicks want to charge? Brad Doherty has what amounts to a clear rebound from the boxing out that everybody else on the Cavaliers did on the line.
I think in retrospect, Starks had to miss it hard as opposed to soft.
He missed it badly. I mean, it's a tough thing to ask a guy to miss it the right way. Doherty hits the first. It's 96-93. Of course, the Knicks, if they do get a Doherty miss here, are really going to have to fly. There is no way they can call a timeout. There's nothing left for them to do except get it up and shoot it as quick as they can.
And get fouled.
That'll just about do it. The buzzer sounds in Cleveland. A great second-half effort by the Knicks. But they just could not overcome the hole they dug for themselves in the second quarter. Cleveland's Cavaliers blocked 11 New York Knicks shots. The Knicks only got off 1 block. And in the end, it is a 97-93 victory for the 10th consecutive time. The Knicks have lost at Richfield. They dropped the season series to the Cavaliers, getting swept 4-0. And those are some of the things they'll have to think about if the Cavaliers are their playoff destiny. 97-93, the final.